All right, guys, so we're going to talk about bridge of incidents. I'm going to give you an example of something that recently just happened to me and really support you in always assuming in your favor no matter what. So stay tuned. You don't want to miss this. Hey everyone, it's Kim Velez, Conscious Life and Success Coach, and I am so excited to be here with you today. If you are new here, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome. And this channel is all about the truth. We're not doing the gimmicks. We're not doing the shortcuts. We're really understanding what do you need to do in order to get what the fuck you want, whether money, specific person, career, your body type, dollars in the bank, where you want to live, everything. This is about manifesting your fucking dream life. So if that sounds good to you, then definitely subscribe and watch, because I'm going to tell you exactly all you need to do to not only get what you want, but sustain it. Because the unfortunate truth is a lot of people are teaching gimmicks and teaching you how to hurry up and manifest something in. We've all done that. Well, most of us have easily done that, but it's about keeping it. And if you have old beliefs and old programming that go against you keeping something, you're not going to keep it. And isn't the goal to sustain the life of your dreams and to build from that and just keep making it bigger and better if you choose to do so? So let's jump into this. Oh, before I do, I don't even know by the time you see this if I'm already sold out, because I literally at the time of filming this have, I think, 5 spots available for my Glow the Fuck Up workshop. It is a 2-day live intervention. It's recorded, so if you can't join both days or one day, it will be, sent to you in order to watch so you don't miss anything. We are focusing on you. We're focusing on the concepts you need to know, getting yourself back on point so you feel better about yourself. This is an intervention for those of you that are struggling with your specific person. We're not talking about specific person in this. It's to bring the focus back on you, your dream life, who the fuck you are, and your worth and value. So if that sounds good to you, then definitely grab that seat if it's still available, because I don't host these quite often. I'm only doing them like 2 or 3 times a year. So let's jump into this. So we're going to talk about bridge of incidents. So bridge of incidents is basically a saying, I believe Neville started or coined it, right? Where basically from where you currently are to the reality of your desire, okay, everything that unfolds in between is considered a bridge of incidents. Now, you don't know it's the bridge of incidents until you look back and you're like, well, duh, that all of that happened and led me to get the outcome that I want. Now, a little cheat code that you can do in order to always assume it's the bridge of incidents bringing you your desire is to think just that. When you're looking at your 3D, like, what is going on here? What is happening here? You're always going to answer yourself and assume in your favor no matter what. And this can be trickier sometimes because, again, we are used to experiencing our reality through our 5 senses and processing our information through those 5 senses. So you're undoing that programming and learning and conditioning of being attached to your 3D reality, and you're starting to understand that you create within and then you experience without. So one of the things that recently happened to me was with my car. So I had an Audi and it was coming up on its 3-year lease. So the 3-year lease expired in September of this current year. So we're in June of this year. So I still had a couple more months on my lease. Now, about 6 or 7 months ago, maybe even longer, actually it was longer than that. It was probably almost a year ago, 8 months to a year ago. In where I was living, it's a parking garage, and the camera failed on my Audi, and I scraped, because I wasn't used to driving in this parking garage, I scraped the whole right side of my baby, this car, with the parking garage mechanism arm thingy. So there was quite a bit of damage. So fast forward, somebody fixed it, but they did a very shitty job. And at that point, I got a second opinion, and they didn't want to touch it because it wasn't done well the first time. And I just said, you know what? This is me trying to force something in the 3D. I'm panicking because my car wasn't fixed properly. I'm worried because it was a lease and it would be over the normal wear and tear that they forgive you, that I'm going to have to come out money, when I turn this lease in. Plus, I didn't want to drive the car around with some of this issue that cosmetic it had. But I decided to take a deep fucking breath and practice what I preach, right? So calm down and said, you know what? It's going to be okay. Somehow, some way, you're going to get out of this lease without owing a fucking penny. And I just persisted in that story. Every time I looked at the body work that was botched, every time, I would get nervous, like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? When am I going to fix this? How much are they going to charge me? Any of those thoughts that would kick in, I simply redirected my thinking and assumed in my favor. Somehow, some way, this is going to work out in my favor. I'm going to come out on top of this. I'm not going to owe a fucking penny. That's all I kept affirming, okay? And one of the things that's really important for me to say to that is, you guys, you have to fucking pay attention to your thoughts. See, if I wasn't aware of where my brain was going, then I would have kept focusing on the worry. I would have kept focusing on the doubts and the concern that I'm going to have to pay something or somehow I'm going to get penalized for this. And this is why it isn't enough to not understand where your thinking is going. You have to pay attention to your brain. If you're fucking noticing what's going on in your mind, you're going to be able to pick up where your thoughts are going and change them so you actually manifest what you want. So this was going on for, a year, 8 months or a year. And I would probably worry about the car a couple times a month, not even going to lie, because I would see it every day in my 3D reality with this botched fix job, okay? And I just knew I was ready for a new car. I'm leveling up my life. I'm glowing the fuck up, as you all know. And I was like, it's time for something more luxurious, something even better. And I really didn't know what that was. And some people are trying to get me to get the new Range Rover. There was other cars I had my eye on, but I really didn't want a Range Rover personally because I don't like SUVs. For me, I'm more of a car girl. I'm very short. I'm 5'4". I don't like trying to jump up in the SUV with the heels and skirts and different things like that. So it was just my preference, and my heart was not sold on the Range Rover, although the new one, all of them are beautiful, but it just wasn't really what I wanted. It was more like, all right, I'll just have that in the interim until whatever. So then about, I would say a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago, I started getting really clear and deciding that, no, I don't want the Range Rover. I want a fucking car that is me, a car that I just feel connected to, that represents who I am, okay? So all of a sudden, this was now a couple weeks ago, I was driving around where I live and I saw a car that caught my eye, and it was fucking gorgeous and so sleek. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I've known about this car, seen it before, thought it was always beautiful, but I don't know why I wasn't remembering it, but it caught my eye. I remembered it. I did some research on it, fell in love, da-da-da-da-da. So that was it. I was like, okay, this will be the car that I get when my lease is up. Not a problem. Now again, remember, my lease wouldn't be up until September. But here's the power of your mind, because we are master manifestors and we can get what we want. So I wanted this new car and I didn't want to wait till September. So this is what happened. I manifested this. Here's the bridge of incidents. So we had a tropical storm down here on June 5th, and I live in South Florida. For those of you that don't know, I've been here 21 years. Tropical storms are very fucking common. Heavy rain is very common down here. Never in my entire life of living down here in 21 years have I ever driven into a puddle of water that was not super high. It wasn't like going into my car or, hitting the door of the car, none of that. Never ever have I ever driven into a puddle of water and had a car stall out. Well, that is exactly what happened to me on June 5th. I was turning into my building and I noticed the water and I tried to veer out and I got out of the water enough where, it was only maybe this much to the tires, and my car just died. Now this car is only not even 3 years old, just died. And called the tow truck, did all of that. And I was a little bit nervous, but I felt very calm and I just kept affirming, somehow, some way, this is going to work out in my favor where I don't owe a fucking penny and I am out of the lease. So called the tow truck, have it sent to the dealership. This was on a Saturday. Let them know what was going on. They notified me Monday. They got possession of the car. They said it will be 2 weeks before we can even run a diagnostic on your car because we have 20 cars ahead of you. So I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in a rental. But I said, you know what? They're going to get me in faster than 2 weeks. Not to them, to myself, because I'm like, we're not waiting that long. And that's exactly what happened. So about 10 days after they told me it would be 2 weeks, she texted me and said, hey, we ran the diagnostic. You know, this is what we need to do to see if it's just the air filter, blah, blah, blah. Okay, great, do it. I was in touch with my insurance company, letting them know what's going on. The adjuster's like, I'll be out there Friday. And I was like, okay, great. Well, they texted me back the next day and said, it's your engine. The changing the spark plugs, the air filter, none of that was enough. Your whole engine is gone. It's kaput. We have to get a whole new engine. Well, I just knew. I was like, there's no way this car is going to be more expensive than the engine. So the engine total was almost $42,000. So I was like, they're gonna write it off, and I'm gonna get out of this lease, and I'm not gonna owe a fucking penny, and maybe they'll end up owing me money. So the adjuster called me when he went out there the next day on Friday and confirmed that and said, go get a new car now. So Friday I went and got my new car, and it was the easiest fucking process ever. Okay, so that is a bridge of incidents. Did it look favorable? No. And this is the thing you have to really understand, is sometimes the bridge of incidents may not look favorable, but it is still working in your favor. Was it annoying that my car died and I had to wait for a tow truck and then get a rental? Yeah, a little bit annoying. You know, it took me out of my routine. It wasn't the best, fun-filled experience, but it wasn't anything dramatic. It wasn't anything crazy. It was actually a very simple process. Everybody was working very well, because that's the reality I live in, where I have a very charmed, peaceful, easy, fucking luxurious life. That is one of the affirmations I say, and I'm like, thank you, this is my fucking life. And that's what I manifest constantly. And it was very smooth, and the insurance company was really cool, and everybody was just working in my favor and being very supportive and just easy to deal with. So this is a lot of times, even Neville talked about an example where there was a bridge of incidents where somebody wanted a different job or money or something like that, and they ended up getting fired from their job, but it was a bridge of incidents, and then they manifested the job that they actually wanted. And again, this is why you assume in your favor. See, people who don't do this, this is where they would have fucked up in my situation with the car. They would have been freaking the fuck out. They would have been affirming the worst case scenario. They would have known without a shadow of a doubt that, this is the worst thing that could happen. They're going to owe all this money. It's going to be hard, all this shit. They would have just created this really shitty reality for themselves that would have been the bridge of incidents to that shitty reality. But instead, I focused on what I want. Somehow, some way this is working out in my favor. Somehow, some way I'm gonna get away out of this lease clean without owing a fucking penny. I'm gonna get everything I want. And that is exactly what happened. So this is what I want to support you guys with, is whether anything you're manifesting, it does not matter what it is. Sometimes the bridge of incidents can be so small and minuscule that you won't even really fucking notice. And sometimes it can be a grand line of things that happen one after the other, and boom, you get what you want. Sometimes it can be super fucking favorable, really easy, all great process. And sometimes it can be appearing as something unfavorable happening, even though it wasn't unfavorable, because that is what led me to get me the outcome that I desired. So this is really where I want to support you guys in understanding. One, you have to pay attention to your thinking so you can redirect your thoughts. Two, you need to be assuming no matter what the fuck circumstance is unfolding in front of you, whether it's good, bad, or nothing, you keep affirming, doesn't matter, it's done, I'm getting, and state the desired outcome you want. This is what I'm getting, X, Y, and Z, no matter what. Even if I don't see the evidence of it right now to support it in my reality, I already know this is what's going to happen to me, and you persist in that story. That is what you focus on. I don't give a fuck what is manifesting and unfolding. You decide and affirm and choose the reality where it's going to still turn in your favor somehow, some way. You don't need to figure out how. I would have never, ever in a million fucking years thought that this would be the way I would get out of my lease. There's no fucking way. I would have never, ever even comprehended in my mind that a new car would die in the fucking water and the whole engine would be destroyed, and that was going to be the ticket to get me what I want. Okay. So this is the fun shit of this, is the way the events can unfold, the bridge of incidents to move you from the reality where I was driving the Audi, not a bad car. It's not like I didn't like it, but I lease my cars. I prefer to do that. So the time was coming up for it, for me to get something new, but then because of the botched body work on it, but I just kept, nope, it's going to work out in my favor somehow, some way. I decided the reality I wanted, no matter what was showing up in the 3D. So this is what you do with your specific person. Every day I had to look at that fucking car and see the botched body work job, okay? I didn't sit there and say, oh my God, I'm gonna have to pay a lot of money. I said, nope, somehow, some way, I'm gonna walk away clean, not owing a penny for this fucking car. That's what I kept affirming. That is the story I stuck to. I had no idea that this would be the bridge of incidents to get me the reality that I wanted, okay? So same thing with your specific person, same thing with your bank account. If you want more money and you're opening that bank account and all you see is it negative, or all you see is it the same fucking number that's pretty low and you're not happy with it, I don't give a fuck. You say somehow, some way, the money's flowing into my account. It's expanding, beyond belief. I have more money than I've ever imagined in my life. Somehow, some way, every time I open my bank account, I'm excited to see the shit ton of money that is flowing in my way, and it just gets better and better every day. You fucking decide the story. You stick to it despite what is showing up. If you want to move and every day you got to look at the apartment you're in and you're like, oh, right, you do the same fucking thing. I love my new dream house. I love how easy it was for me to get it. I love the feeling of waking up in this house. I love that I'm living my dream life. I love that I have the perfect, house in the perfect neighborhood with the perfect yard, and it's perfect for me. And you can even get way more specific than that. But I don't care if every day you get up in that fucking apartment, you decide, even though my five senses is currently experiencing this reality in the apartment, I am going to live and dwell in the reality that I actually want, the one that will be. And you persist in that story in your mind, but you have to pay attention. You have to be aware of your thinking. And you do this because you don't know what the bridge of incidents is going to be. You don't know what's going to, how it's going to transition for you to get out of this old reality and get you into the new one. But it does. Do you see how everything had to line up? Everything, all the parties involved, everything that was happening, it happened in the best way possible, in a sense of me getting my new car faster. Nobody was injured in the process. It was just a little minor inconvenience of waiting for a tow truck and then, having to drive a rental that I didn't even pay for, my insurance covered. So that's a pretty damn good deal, and I got a fucking dope ass car that I'm in love with, and I've been affirming that everybody just drives amazingly well around me, and my car is spotless and beautiful and perfect always. So you get to decide that no matter what is showing up, it's working in your favor, even if you don't see evidence. Tell yourself that. I don't got to worry about how it's going to get there. It's getting there. I see it. I know it. I believe it. I trust it. Even if you fucking don't, you tell yourself that until you convince yourself of such, okay? And that is it. So I hope you found this video helpful. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.